Yeah, local hood.
You guys hear me? Sam?
Yep.
Yeah, Sam.
Okay, thank you.
You guys hear me?
Yep. Presumably they're outside.
Yeah, right here to the right, guys.
Nice one.
To the right.
I don't need to respawn this time.
Neither do I, just checking.
It's all good.
I don't understand why it does that sometimes anyway.
Yeah, it's a pain.
Nice.
That to look different. You'll notice you're also looking a bit different.
Yeah,
You got your guns out. Sun's out, guns out.
yeah, that's it. It's warm day today.
It's because everyone else looks exactly the same, so we have to
exactly.
we have to look a little different. Plus, I like these boots. These boots are nice,
Nice.
and the camo's ever so slightly different on these. This is back in the day Vegas gear.
Oh, okay. I dig it.
I'll just give it a couple of minutes, guys, whilst everyone loads in, syncs up, and that kind of jazz. I think those will be along shortly as well. So we're not. Hope no one's in any rush tonight, in particular, are they?
No problem.
No.
Excellent. That's what we like.
So,
Hey, Will.
yo.
It's awful nice training base you got here.
I thought so. I thought design, nice sunny day, got all the kit on display, all that.
No Mediterranean crap laying around.
Yeah, it's nice to go woodland every now and again, you know.
Yeah.
We don't do woodland near enough.
Mm-hmm.
No zombies on this one though, sadly.
Yeah.
Budget
Not until they
cuts.
update.
Not until it's a hard
Budget cuts lead to slightly dilapidated firehouse buildings. Liquor paint, it'll be fine. That's
Budget
what
cuts.
this course. That's what this course is all about. It's how
That's
to
it, yeah.
redecorate.
Wax on, wax off. Mr. Miyagi style.
Oh, so that's why there are so many vehicles. You have to wash them.
That's it. It's the first lesson: how to clean everything, change
It's like
tires.
Karate Kid.
We've been
Yeah,
GTA
yeah.
boys. Quick, log off. Stabs, did you put that drain pipe up there, mate?
What?
Looks like your handiwork.
In a previous life, you might not be far wrong there, mate. Before I started my current job, when I was working on a building site, it's quite accurate.
It's even a flat roof. So yeah, nice job.
Those are already connecting.
I aim to please. Oh, fantastic! We can hold on for a couple of minutes then. See people cycling through. Ooh, new kit. Not seen this kit before.
Misclick, actually.
I don't believe you.
I have a button signed wrong.
Wrong signature for the runway. Fuck it up.
Yeah.
The
Well,
runway light. Wilhelm, do a file verification.
are we missing anyone else steps?
No, I believe we're just waiting for Dozer.
Alright.
And then we are good to go, sir.
No, that's not supposed to happen.
Wrong signature for the runway.
I like the idea of Will just cruising along the runway and then it just falls under the map because part of it hasn't been loaded.
More specifically, it was the runway lights, so, big issue here.
What was he doing with those lights?
Inspecting them. Alright, Dozer, come on.
Will's verifying now, so.
Dozer?
It's so inviting to make jokes about Greeks being lazy and not on time.
I can hear you.
Of course.
See?
Pay debts.
Always works.
Hey, Dozer.
Hello.
That's how you summon them. Alright, everyone. Thank you for coming. Some of you already are NCOs, some of you want to become NCOs, and some are just here to learn. All of those are good reasons. We are looking for, well, all of this. On one hand, we need more NCOs, and we need more people that are qualified as NCOs. Steps will go over the exact details of what you're facing in this training and in the next session. But let me just start quickly with something that's important to us when it comes to NCOs. So all of you know the classic saying, with great power comes great responsibility, and most of the time we roll our eyes and go like, yeah, sure. In this case, it's not overused, but it's absolutely true. You need to understand that being an NCO is not a privilege, but it's a duty to the community and its member. Your primary motivation, or if your primary motivation to becoming an NCO is, to have power and to lead people around, you're totally doing it wrong. So I can't stress this hard enough. If this gives you the kick, you're not cut for it. Period. Simple as that. And everyone on this line will totally agree with you here. With me, not you. It's very important that as a leader or an NCO, you carry the responsibility of making sure that the written and unwritten rules of the community are being followed, but also that every single other member is having a good time. If we can't ensure that people are having fun, they won't come back. It's that simple. Most of the work in platoon command is making sure that Gambler is happy and that you guys come back, or every other one. This is also what's going to happen when you're an NCO. Sure, you're leading in the field, and Steps will go over the leadership stuff and guiding you around and how to order people in the field and fulfill the mission and the objectives. But you absolutely need to understand that you have a bigger role here, a bigger responsibility outside of the whole game part. This is also what leads to the first big issue. Like, a common issue that people have is, this isn't just true for the game, by the way, this is true for real life as well when it comes to leadership. You constantly have to balance between making sure that you stay true to the community, but that you stay true to your squad as well. You will you will feel responsible for your guys, and you want to make sure that they're happy, and the feeling gets like bigger and bigger, and you want to make sure that your guys are happy, and eventually it turns into us versus them feeling. Some of you that have been here longer know this, have witnessed it more, like once or even more. Cough, cough, dagger. That this is a prime example. So if anyone speaks of dagger, that this is a prime example for this here. It's when a leader turns too much to his squad, forgets that he has a duty to the whole community and to command, and then just looks out for his squad. This creates friction, creates a wall between the squads and the rest of the community, and this is obviously bad. If this happens, sure you can break the circle, but it takes a lot of effort to get yourself out of the situation. If you fail, you also fail to be a leader. It's that simple. Yeah, I cannot stress more than enough that it's really just a responsibility. Obi and Will that are here can emphasize on this, that sure it's fun and game, but there's a lot more stuff to it than just running around having a grenade launcher and being cool, being the cool guy and giving orders. All right, not wanting to bore you any further, Steps, wanna carry it away?
Yep, sure. Cheers, Tay. Just you all know who we are. The people at the front here are basically here to observe and assist if needed. So any problems, if you find myself or Tay first, these other guys are here to help and basically just keep an eye on you, like making sure you're all behaving yourselves and that kind of thing. I will just say this: this is a serious course. We're expecting you to learn quite a bit. We're going to cram quite a lot of information in tonight and next week. If you want to take notes, feel free to take notes. It would probably be a benefit to you. I know that might sound a little bit anal, taking notes on a computer game, but the amount of knowledge we're going to actually push down your throats is going to be an awful lot to take in. So if you want to go away and grab like a bit of pen and paper or open up like a Google Doc on your phone or something like that, just to so you've got something to take notes, I advise you do that. Does anyone need any time to get that sorted? No?
Not
Already have paper.
Fantastic. This is see, I'm fucking loving this already. Absolutely loving it. All right, and boys. So for the first little bit tonight, we're going to go over some radio and communications lesson. It will probably take about 20 to 30 minutes. So let's go and take a seat on the grass because it's nice and sunny over there. So if you'll follow me, you come to this little pre-planned area that I have because I'm kind of anal guy. Beautiful. Gather around my lovely pre-placed radio mast here, which would give you signal up to about 30 kilometers in real life because of the amount of cabling that you have. Feel free to take a seat, relax, chill. Wrong keybind.
God damn it.
Cheers, Dozer. Yeah, boys, right, this is going to be make yourself comfortable time now. If you're wondering what the hell that is behind me, that is actually an anchor mast. It serves no real purpose in game. In real life, that would be used as essentially a signal booster, and the amount of cables and height of the mast and everything else essentially would dictate the range that you can transmit and broadcast. The Land Rover that's parked next to it, that's called a Land Rover, obviously, but that particular variant is called an FFR, which stands for, nice and simply, Fit for Radio. In the back of one of those would have loads of radio kit and communications and all that. If anyone wonders why the hell I'm talking about that, it's because when I was in the army, signals was my thing. Believe it or not, I was a signaller, and we did loads of shit in the UK that was linked between military and civilian forces. But before I go in any further digressing, let's actually get into the lesson itself. So, as an NCO / squad leader / 2IC, you will be equipped with 2 radios. Now, if you open up your inventory real quick, you will see that you have your bog standard 343 and your 148 also. Everyone have one of those?
Yep.
I should fucking hope so.
Yes.
Nope.
As everyone, who doesn't?
Check your backpack.
Kimbo.
You should have.
I do.
the one-
I don't know where it's gone, but I do have one. It's on my keyboard.
Excellent. Well, that's good enough for me. Right. So, as standard, I think the keybind is pressing caps lock will activate your 343s, and pressing Alt and caps lock together will activate your 148. Is it? Everyone just check that now.
Yeah, I've remapped, to be honest.
Yes.
Right, if you've got it remapped, that's cool. Those of you who've never touched a 148 before, that should be that as standard. Now, if we open up our 148, if you don't know how to do that, if you press Alt Shift Caps to switch it to the 148 and then press Control Alt and Caps Lock, you will see your 148 appear on screen. Or you can interact, use Ace Interaction, go to Radios, and you'll see it appear on your menu there. If you go to your 148 and you can click Open Radio. Does everyone now have a nice big picture of a radio in front of them?
Yep.
Anybody not? Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so in front of you there, that's your bog standard 148. Has a range more than suitable to cover the vast majority of Arma 3 terrains. It's not going to run out of juice at any point. You're not going to need to worry about batteries. The only thing you'll really need to worry about with these at long distances are terrain interference, or if you're at extremely long range, then you can start getting some sort of distortion. But generally speaking, this type of radio is more than suitable for the communications you guys are going to need to worry about during ops and training and stuff. So the interface itself, you've got your main screen in front of you. There's a few different buttons, like you can change the mode and all this. We're not going to go into that. There are a few things you can do with these radios that you can essentially have them as a loudspeaker, so you could put them in the back of the vehicle and everyone can hear the comms that are coming through the radio. At the top there, you've got change channel, which is nice and simple. You can also press the up and down arrows to change your channels. And then you've got your volume on the top left-hand side. And that's really all you need to worry about. The only channel you're going to need to stress yourselves over is channel 1, which is GamblerNet. And hopefully you've all got it tuned to that, yes?
Yep.
Okay. Pro tip that vast majority of people use is to set one radio to one ear and the other radio to the other ear, so you know exactly which. If you can hear something coming through one ear or the other, you know which it's coming to. Personally, I tend to have, or used to have, 343 on the left and 148 on the right, but it's perfectly up to you to set those. You can either press Control Shift and an arrow key on your keyboard to set the direction of the radio, or again, thanks to the wonders of Ace, you can self-interact, open the radios menu, and you can set it there, or set to right ear or set to left ear. So once you're comfortable with that, just let me know.
Yep.
Everyone happy so far?
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Right, now with the 148 itself, or GamblerNet itself, we tend to use what we'd like to describe as a correct voice procedure, or to the best of our abilities, we'll use correct voice procedure. You all want to take your MILSIM and RG kind of thing further. This is what it entails. You know, we get a little bit more military, we get a little bit more serious on things. One, it kind of helps things, keeps things nice and clear on the net, and two, it makes the sound more professional. It gets messages across a lot easier, stuff like that, and just generally sounds better, and is a little bit more immersive, I'd say, as well. Now, before we go into too much stuff, the phonetic alphabet. Does anyone not know what I mean when I say the phonetic alphabet? Fantastic. So
Just
you don't know what it means?
Maybe, but if you could.
Okay, so phonetic alphabet is essentially a way of saying letters over a radio. So if you ever hear Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf, Hotel, etc., etc., that's a phonetic alphabet. Okay, it's standard across all NATO countries. And to be honest, at this point in time, the vast majority of the world will use a very standardized format of the phonetic alphabet. And that's what we tend to use over the net. So if there are any issues with that, I suggest you can, in your own time, just look up or get to learn the phonetic alphabet, because it does really come in handy later on down the line when you're trying to spell something out over the radio, or for various other reasons. Phonetic alphabet is the way forward. The reason this is done is so letters don't get confused. You're not going to confuse Mike November with MN with a distorted radio or anything like that. They're very, very different, and that's what it's for, really. So there's no confusion. You're all very aware of what's being spelled out over to you, the radio. You have to forgive me, I'm trying to look at notes at the same time here, because I've been that anal, I've actually wrote down what I meant to say. Okay, so there are, what comes with voice procedure is what we want to call radio etiquette. And when I say radio etiquette, it's basically polite manners that's used over the net. And when I say net, that just you know what I mean, using over the radio essentially. With radio etiquette, you need to take into account things like patience. You need to be patient with each other when people are sending messages. You need to make sure you're using the correct voice procedure. You need to make sure you don't cross comms with people and break their message. You need to maintain a professional standard at all times. And there's lots of things that go into it, but essentially you use your common sense and you act like a professional person when you're communicating over the net. Now, the reason for this is there's lots of people trying to use it all the time. And if you're constantly breaking comms and coming in and using incorrect formats and stuff like that, it can throw people off, it can confuse people, it can ensure that you are given the wrong orders or you misinterpret orders, and eventually lead to your untimely demise. And this is in real life as well as it is in Arma. You know, I'm sure some of you hear 148 all the time, and yeah, we do get a little bit relaxed compared to real life because at the end it is a game, and we are all from different countries. We are using, our militaries use slightly different voice procedure, but in RG overall we try and tend to keep it as slick as we possibly can. Now there are some discrepancies that creep in from time to time, and I'm just as guilty for it. If I used full-on British Army voice procedure, I'd probably confuse a lot of people. So I do tend to slack off a little bit and use terms that probably wouldn't be used. But overall, the etiquette maintains the same. You know, if someone's talking, you don't cut in. You always, wherever possible, use the correct terminologies, correct voice procedure, and all this kind of stuff. Is everyone happy with that so far?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions? No, fantastic. All right, so getting actually into using the radio itself proper. Now we've covered all that. I know I'm breezing through a lot of these guys, but again, time-wise, we're going to try and smash it out. So using the radios proper. Now, when you open a communication, we use something. Well, the term is referred to a handshake. Okay, so if I wanted to communicate someone, I won't use call signs now, but essentially it'd be, hello, you, this is me, I have a message. Okay, so it's always, well, in real world, you'd open up with a hello or a first word. The reason for that is not always will the radio detect that you're speaking as soon as you push the plunger down. So that first word will ensure that the main body of the person you want to speak to, or the main call sign, is always transmitted. So you're not cutting off the first half of it. In real world terms, you know, you're going to have, it'll be like Bravo 2-1 Echo or something like that. If you're not saying that hello beforehand, you may miss off, or the radio might not pick up that initial Bravo. It's not such a problem here in RG because we've got, you know, one word call signs, but it's good practice to have that kind of hello, you, this is me, and whatever your message is going to be. So, for example, it'd be, hello, Gambler, this is Arrow, message over. All right? That handshake, that hello, you, this is me, that's just a handshake. Just always remember that. So you start off with your first word, the who you are, who you want to talk to. This is who you are. Everyone happy with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So if I ever refer to a handshake, that's what I mean. So,
Marco,
yes?
is this for both reacting to someone as calling for someone?
No, I will get into that in a moment. We're just opening the conversation up. But yeah, we'll get there. I'm trying to take it step by step, so if I do miss something, to point it out. All right. So from there, then we've got the handshake. Now, radio checks. Now, you all do this all the time with your 343s, so that's not really a major issue. But example of a radio check is, hello, you, this is me, radio check, over. Now, the correct reply to that, and I say correct because we tend to use Lima Charlie a lot here, which is something that's crept in, but I'll let it slide, but I don't like it, even though I say it sometimes. Correct response would be Roger, okay, or just okay, out. And that is, I can hear you okay, blah, blah, blah. If you give a okay out or okay over, if you say over, then you're expecting a response. So the correct reply to that would simply be okay out. Everyone happy with that?
Yes.
Yes.
So, hello, you. This is me. Radio check. Over. Okay. Over. Roger. Okay. Out. That's a very, very basic radio check between two different call signs. Nice and clear. Now, if the signal isn't okay, you could say, hello, you. This is me. Radio check. Over. If it's all staticky and a bit shit and you can't really hear it, you could simply reply difficult. Over. Or if it's really, really fucking bad and you can't hear a word that they're saying, you just say unworkable. Or if you can't hear anything at all, then you literally can't hear anything. But there's 3 stages. You've either got okay, difficult, or unworkable. Now, again, in Arma, chances are it's either going to work or it isn't. But there might be times where you are really struggling to hear somebody, so you could use one of those 2 phrases. Any questions?
We have in the past gotten into the habit of using the number system, 5 by 5, etc., 1 to 5, for strength and clarity, for loudness and clarity. Yeah,
that's something I briefly mentioned before. There are things that creep in. I'm just kind of giving a standardized thing at the moment. If you use those, that's fine, but you better be damn sure that you know exactly what each one's means. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, cool.
It's not. I find it much easier just to go, it's either okay, it's not okay, or it's shit. If you start cramming in numbers, then you can't, with Arma especially, you can't really work out or fine tune signals to get ultimate clarity. But yeah, I mean, you can use individual ways of doing things. This is just an overall kind of British Army way of doing things. You can either adopt it or you won't. But if you said unworkable to me, I'd know exactly what you're talking about. If you said, I can hear you 4 by 4 or whatever, I'd think you're talking about a piece of wood. It wouldn't make any sense. Okay, so moving on. So that's radio checks. Very, very, very simple. I know that's pretty mundane shit to you, but I'm covering it anyway, so deal with it. Okay, moving on then. When you actually start to get to the meat of your message, if you wanted to talk to somebody, how would you do it? Let's have a look. Subjack. How would you, if you wanted to talk to Gambler, what would you say?
I'd say, sorry about my voice. I'd say, Gambler, this is Blade.
Okay, and then what?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot here. Okay, so exactly, this is my point. So if you wanted to speak to somebody, it's pointless just kind of saying, just leaving it open-ended like that. So if you said, Gambler, this is Blade, yeah, what kind of is essentially my response, I'd
wait for you to say something like, this is Gambler, send it.
Yeah, you could wait for that. It's much easier a lot of the times, though, is just to say, open it up with, Gambler, this is Blade, message over. Something like that. So we know that you need to either talk to us, you're either sending a message or sending us information, or there are lots of other what we call pro words that you could use to open up your comms. And I'm going to go through a big long list of these now, so this might be time to, and I'll go over the meanings of them as we're doing it. Now, pro words are basically a word that can be used that can portray a lot of information in just one word or 1 or 2 words. Okay, so the first one, and probably one of the most important ones, is contact. Okay, so you'd open up the message, Gambler, this is Blade, contact, and then whatever you finish it with. Now, contact is pretty obvious if you're under contact or under fire at that particular point in time. So that's one pro word. And that basically lets us know that you're in a firefight or you're in an engagement of some description. Going down the list, first of all, message. Again, another pro word, what I said before, that is that you want to relay a big chunk of information to us. So it's not just a couple of things we need to actually stop and pay attention to what you're about to say or what you're about to transmit. Out is very, very simple. If you end the thing with out, that means you're closing the conversation. You do not want a reply after you hear out on the net. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So if I said, right, gambler out, that means don't reply, don't say anything more, don't clog the net anymore. Over means I'm expecting a reply. So, or you want a reply from that particular message. Obviously, you've got radio check. Roger is another one. That means, I understand what you're on about. I understand what you're talking about. Roger so far is another one. That's a good one to use if you're portraying a lot of information. So if I'm spilling off a shitload of stuff and I need a break, or I'm not sure that you're getting it all, I can say to you, Roger so far, over. And you can just reply back, yep, Roger so far. And then I can continue the message because I know that you're fully understanding what's going on. Say again is if you miss something on the radio and you want it to be, if you want me to repeat it, essentially. Now, this one's quite important in real life, especially. If you were to say repeat on an open net, then that would make any artilleryman's ears prick up, and they would think about resending the last artillery or the last shelling coordinates over in your direction. Repeat is an artilleryman's word, and that basically means repeat the last fire mission. So get out the habit of saying repeat, because it's not the done thing, and that goes from the UK to the US. If you hear repeat on the net, they're talking about repeating a fire mission. They're not talking about repeat what you just said. So if you don't hear something or it's not clear enough, it's just say again, over. Or if you caught some of it but missed the last few digits, you could put another pro word, say again, all after. Okay? So, and then all after a particular grid, or all after move to Bravo, or something like that. Happy so far?
Yes.
Yep.
Cool. All right, if I'm going too fast for anyone, just let me know. Wait is, again, another pro word. Pretty self-explanatory here. It means I'm fucking busy right now. Hold the fuck on. I can't talk. Followed by the wait would be, a time difference, or, so you could say wait 1, wait 2, and generally speaking, that means minutes. Okay, so if you're mid-running through a hail of bullets, it could just be wait 1, out, or simply wait out. So a stereotypical broadcast would be, hello, Gambler, this is Blade, contact, wait out. That lets us know that you're in contact, you're a bit too busy to talk right now, but you will get back to us as soon as you can. And then we won't reply to you, we won't send anything to you. No one will contact you until you open up the net again. Everyone happy with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. If you make a mistake on the radio, if you completely fluff your words, which someone like me, I'm tempted to do quite a lot, the correct way of going about it, instead of going, oh, fuck, break, and then coming back in, is just simply say wrong and start again. All right, there's no harm in that. It's just admitting that you're wrong. It's a good thing to say wrong and then repeat your message. Let's see. Go on.
Can you make an example with wrong?
Okay, so let's have a look. Hello, Gambler, this is Arrow. We are moving to grid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Wrong. We are moving to grid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Simple. Happy?
Okay. Yeah.
No problem. Okay, so yeah, just wrong just basically means disregard what I've just said. I'm talking out my ass. I'm going to resend the proper message now. One that we use quite a lot in dangerous situations, or when an urgent thing is coming through and someone's blocking the net, is break. If you hear break over the net, keep it clear. Don't jump in. Just stop transmitting, stop doing what you're doing, and let that call sign chip in and send what they need to send. You don't need to say, hello, Gambler, this is Cutlass, break over. No, just cut in, just say break, break, break. That lets everyone know to clear the airways and let you get your message across. And no one else should chip in. Again, that comes down to radio etiquette. Don't use it to say break, break, break. My doorbell's just rang, I'm going for a piss. It's got to be something pertaining to the mission itself, or something like, we're about to get overrun, we've got a T-72 that's destroying Anto at the moment, like completely raping him. That's when you would use break. Okay.
Been
Yeah, yeah, haven't we all? Okay, so those are a lot of the kind of most important ones that that you're going to need. Essentially, there's an awful lot of pro words out there. I have to excuse my phone going off all the time. There's an awful lot of pro words out there. Oh, I just spotted one that I didn't go over. Two actually. If operating in kind of hostile areas, foreign lands that we can't really pronounce anything, and this map's quite a good one. If you can't spell a particular town, as for example, if you took a contact by a particular town, if you can't spell it, or if you can't move to it and read it out correctly, instead of saying over the net, we are moving to, let's think of a stupid one. There's plenty of stupid ones over
Sultan
here.
Safi.
So
to go
instead of
with
saying
Pakistan.
we're going to move to, let's just use Kelm, just to be, we are moving to I spell Kilo Hotel Echo Lima Mike. All right. If I hear the words I spell come over the radio, I know that you're literally going to be reading something out to me in letters that I need to then, put into a word. It's particularly useful in places like Afghanistan and Iraq where, British dumbasses like me can't pronounce anything. But it's used a lot. It is used a lot, and it can be used for anything as well. If you have someone with a strange name, an interpreter, anything like that that you struggle to pronounce, or if you're transmitting and it's a bit garbled, it's difficult to understand, using I spell can really, really help get your message across. The same goes for figures. That's another pro word. If you have, again, if it's a difficult net or if it's a bit staticky, you can say, Gambler, this is Dusak. I have figures 9 men or something like that, 9 HVTs, just so it's not mixed up or confused with anything else. You can use figures 10, figures 15, figures whatever. Normally best used for kind of above 10. But again, that's mostly used for if your signals are a bit difficult and you can't really understand very well what's going on. Are there any questions on the usage of pro words?
I do. I have a question concerning the break
Yes.
word. You said that it's
Yep.
normally used to enter the channel when we have an urgent message to let
Yes.
people know that it's urgent. Can we also use this word when, let's say, I have a long message for you? Let's say, hey, Gambler, this
Yes,
is Hedgerow,
absolutely.
blah,
Yep.
blah, 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 break, and then I take on with the message.
Yes, yeah, you
Okay.
can. So essentially the word break is keep that airwave clear for whatever message comes next. If you can use that to, I mean, it's not an official thing, but we do use it in RG a fair bit. I think the US use it. The British ways are slightly different, but yeah, you can just say kind of halfway through your message, break, get your breath, and then continue. You don't need to reinitiate the handshake or anything like that. You can just continue with your message. So break is basically telling everyone else that isn't talking or hasn't said break, keep the airwave clear.
But
Yep.
you have to get your finger off the radio push to talk button.
Sorry?
Yes.
On a break, yeah.
A break should be a breath.
Yeah.
That's the list. You shouldn't keep it. You shouldn't say break and then wait ages. It should be a breath. Time for them to get their breath, you to get your breath, them to note down anything, and then key back on radio.
Okay.
No handshake, just go straight back into your message.
All right. So everyone happy with that?
Yes.
Stubbs, can I just ask one quick question?
Of course you can.
Obviously, I've not heard it too much in RG, but like the term interrogative, whenever you're talking to people and you want to know details about stuff, do you use that?
Interrogative, yeah, it's you can use it. Yeah, there are words people will understand what you're talking about. Interrogative is more like I have a question or I have a query. It's just a word that gets that across in one word. It's essentially another pro word, yeah. So you'll hear lots of these kind of things again, these kind of colloquialisms that will come through from different nations and stuff like that. And we're all about that life. We're all about this inclusion and stuff. You have to just bear with. I'm from the British train of thought, so that's what I'm putting across. I'm trying to keep it as kind of even as possible. Is there any other questions from that? Sweet. Okay, so on that vein, again, this is kind of very, very basic kind of infantry stuff that normally most everyone would know, but in RG we don't really need to go that in depth with people who aren't in NCOs and stuff like that. The next is a way of doing a contact report. The British way is it's called a salter, and I spell S-A-L-T-A. Salter, and the S, if you're given a contact report, this would be S for strength of enemy, A is activity of enemy, L is location of enemy, T is time of engagement, or how long ago, and A, actions of friendly forces. Now, I'm not expecting, and we're not expecting people to give salters on a regular basis, okay? But these are things that it kind of comes hand in hand with radio stuff. But as an NCO, these are the kind of things that you need to keep in mind just in case we ever ask you what the hell's going on. If we hear a firefight off in the distance and we ask for a report, or you've came over and said contact way out, this is the type of thing that the message will get relayed back. Now, you don't have to send over the net and go, okay, Sierra, there was 10 enemy, and get all confused like that. It's just a very simple kind of, how many were there, what the fuck were they doing, where, how long ago was it, and what did you do? So, Gambler, this is Arrow. We encountered 10 enemy patrolling down a road at grid, blah, 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 blah. This was 10 minutes ago. We assaulted the position or engaged the enemy. All enemy personnel destroyed, out. And as simple as that. So it's just a handy way of remembering the kind of information you need to pass across in a proper contact report. Now, we don't do those very often, but because I'm of an inquisitive mind, I may question squad leaders or NCOs if I hear firefights in the distance and they're not telling me what's going on. I might want to know these things because I'm like that. So that's just a handy thing. So Salter, does anyone need me to go over what they are again?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so S would be for strength of enemy, or how many they are, or what they're using, so it's BTR or whatever. A, activity of enemy. Were they patrolling? Were they stationary? Were they guarding? Were they on a checkpoint? Whatever. Location of enemy, be a town, grid, particular building number, anything like that. Time of engagement, so how long ago was it? That's not the most important one, to be honest, so you don't worry about that too much. That's more for higher up, like, reports. So if we were to report to high rollers that, yeah, we engaged, or such and such a squad engaged like 15 minutes ago, or whatever. And then the final A is actions of friendlies, so what you did. Now, again, I'm not going to be asking for salters, and Dave's not going to be asking for salters to be put across all the time, but it's a handy kind of reference to have in your knowledge bank there that, you know, if you were to be asked what was going on or what did you encounter, those few letters can really help you decipher information over a broadcast very, very quickly. Because you've got those in the back of your head, you can go, right, okay, what information do I now need to pass on? Okay, and it's helpful for recce reports and stuff like that as well. Any questions? Excellent. Okay, so moving on from there, we have another pro word again, is sitrep. And now normally I'll be asking for a sitrep, or Tay will be asking for a sitrep, and that stands for situation report. Those two words combined, pretty damn simple. Now, that could, if we're asking for a sitrep, that we just want to know what the hell's going on. Okay, we need to know where you are, what you're doing, that kind of thing. Encompassed in that, sometimes we might ask for a sitrep at the end of an engagement, and we need to know what your ammo state's like, what your casualty state's like. That can also come under something called an ACE report. ACE is ACE, which would be ammo, casualties, and equipment. Okay? Any questions? Cool. Right, so to reply to that kind of sitrep, we have the 3 color phases that we use in RG, basically. There are real world stuff, there's different ways of doing it, but in RG we'll simply say green if everyone's good. So if you've still got plenty of ammo, you're green on ammo. Amber is you're okay for now, but one more engagement, you're going to be struggling. and black, which means you're pretty in the shit right now. You need ammo ASAP, and that goes for the same with any equipment that you may be using or anything like that. Casualties, you can use whatever system you want, be it Cat Alpha, Tier 1, whatever, or you can put it across in plain text that you have 3 minor wounds or 1 seriously wounded. So if we ask for a sit rep, that's the kind of information we want. You know, where are you? What's your ammo like? Have you got any casualties? Any questions on that?
Yes.
Sure.
Do you have? Does RG use injury category? Let's say from Alpha to Charlie, to describe how bad it is.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I'm used to what's called a T1, 2, 3 system. So Tier 1 would be most serious. Vegas will use Cat Alpha for most serious to Cat Charlie for minor wounds. Medics themselves, they have their own thing. We're all pretty comfortable with what's serious and what's not. But we're happy as Gambler HQ to kind of just hear it in plain text.
Okay.
If you want to implement a particular system within your squad, then that's fine. We don't really stress about that. That may be subject to change. It would be nice to have an across-the-board system, but yeah, like for radio comms, if you were to say to me Cat Alpha or T1 or Tier 1, I'd know exactly.
Understand.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So, any further questions on that?
Yeah, I've got. Sorry, Ted.
No, go ahead, Kimbo.
So let's say you ask for a sit rep or an ace report. Obviously, sometimes we might not know that information, and we might need to try and, as squad leaders, like find that out.
Wait one.
Wait one.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like, although on radios things can seem pretty blunt and pretty rude, but it's not. It's just a simple, quick fire way of saying, just hold the fuck on. I'm a bit busy. I need to find that out. So instead of saying, like, fluffing your way over the net and going, I'll find out that for you, over, just Roger, wait out.
I mean,
that's it.
Yeah, obviously, if we're asking for your ammo count or whatever, you might not have thought about that by the time we ask you, so you're not able to answer this, and we know this. So that's a simple question we ask for ace reports, and then you have some time to figure it out, and then you come back with ABC or the squad's Arrowblade, Cutlass, Dussack, and then you get. So if you can't answer something, just feel free to, let us know that you need time to do that. Period.
Tay makes an important point there, guys. If it's oftentimes going to be between command saying all sections, well, what's your sit rep? And you've got to remember you always go in alphabetical order. Don't cut in front of another squad. So Arrow would be first, then Blade, then Cutlass, then Dussack. And it's very important that you get your sit rep out, or you at least respond. So the section behind you, for example, if Blade hadn't said anything, Cutlass are waiting, and they might need to give an urgent sit rep to command, but they can't until Blade says something on the net. And that might just be, like you said, Kimbo, Gambler, this is Blade, wait one. Very important you actually respond to them, so Gambler know you're up and speaking.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when we say wait one to let the other squad make the report, we wait until all squads are done to come back to the radio.
Yeah. Basically, you can make it so you jump the queue or you go to the back of the queue as long as you're passing this stuff on. This comes down into kind of radio etiquette again, and I'll briefly go over the summary of that toward the end. Now you all know the pro words and stuff. Is there any further questions before I move on?
I'm just quickly going to add, if you're not British, you don't have to say amber. Orange works fine.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, what the hell is amber? No need to.
Any more?
No.
Cool. Right. One final thing before I kind of summarise what we've covered. One thing called collective call signs. Now, it's not something we use or don't tend to use, but wink, wink, Tay. It's something we may introduce in the future because it makes comms on the radio a lot more simple, or it may be something you hear people talking about, and just as a more of an interesting, so you know what the hell we're talking about. So collective call signs, then you retain your individual call signs. So you retain Arrow, Blade, Cutlass, Dussack. However, if, for example, Arrow and Blade were together, and Cutlass and Dussack were together, and they're off completely separate, rather than Gambler saying this is Gambler to Arrow and Blade, we could condense that and give you a collective call sign, and that would be very simply something like Charlie Charlie 1 or Charlie Charlie 2, and that could be condensed so you both know that we're talking to you guys. Everyone else can switch off from this broadcast. But yeah, so that was just more of an interesting, it may be introduced because we do tend to work independently sometimes, but it's not a major thing for you to worry about. It's just something that can happen, that you can have a combined call sign while still retaining your individual call signs. Just to go on.
Question about that.
Yep.
You said, for example, messaging Arrow and Blade at the same time. Who is answering first?
Exactly. So we want a response from both. So we could say, this is Gambler to, or this is Gambler to Arrow and Blade. We need you to move to grid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Acknowledge, over, and then you'd simply return Arrow. Hello Gambler, this is Arrow. Roger, out. And then hello Gambler, this is Blade. Roger, out. Okay.
Okay.
So same thing again. It would be the same kind of. Yes, I say hello. Fuck.
Just a warning. I'm going to shoot anyone who repeats the word hello 20 times in a mission.
Yeah. See, well, when I get into my British thing, that's what I do. But yeah, so it's always going to be in that alphabetical order. It's always going to be, the whoever's first in alphabetical will go first, and that works the same in real life as well. If you've got a complete call sign group starting from zero, from 0 to 0 alpha to 0, 1, 2 alpha, it will always start from 0 upwards. And just as a point of interest, 0 is normally like a high roller in that example. Okay, so now you know all your pro words and stuff. Kind of going back to that radio etiquette, there's as we were saying before, that alphabetical order is kind of very important. Breaks very important. You've got to be very conscious and very aware of what's taking place on the 148s at all times. As squad leaders or 2 ICs, someone always has to be responsible for that radio, but just because one person's responsible doesn't mean anyone else can switch off from it. You've got to listen and realize what's going on, because if one person who is responsible then gets shot and you've not been paying attention, you now have no idea of what messages have been sent, received, or anything like that. So yeah, you can have somebody responsible to actually reply to the message, but that doesn't mean you should shut down and completely tune out. It's, to put it bluntly, it's not acceptable to have no one listening. There's 2 people in each squad with a 148. 2 people should be listening to those messages. Now, just another couple of things. If there was, again, like that combined call sign thing getting sent through, it would be we wanted to send a message to 2 different people. We could finish it off by saying out to you, and then continue a message onto someone else. So if I wanted to say, speak to High Roller and Talon at the same time, send something to High Roller and say, out to you, Talon, this is Gambler, and continue my message. So I'm still hogging the airwaves until someone has said out, that airwave, or out and nothing more, that airwave is still busy and you do not cut in. Okay? Unless it's very urgent and you can use break. So everyone happy with that?
Yes.
Start off a message with a handshake. You finish it with over or out. If you say over, you're expecting a response. The airwave is still busy, and no one else can cut in. If you say out, you've cleared the airwave. If you forgot to say something and you need to raise those people again, you start off with the handshake again. You don't just go, oh, by the way, I forgot. No, you start off handshake first, and you do the message properly. Everybody happy?
Yes.
Are there any questions, points, problems, queries that you want to get sorted out before we finish up?
From my time from duels, over and out together is not a
No,
thing.
It makes me sick to even hear it.
Okay, just saying that.
No, over and out.
Yeah, we're
in
not
the
truckers in
context-
America.
Yeah, over and out in the context of voice procedure makes no sense whatsoever. because essentially over means I'm handing it over to you to respond, and out means I'm ending this conversation. So essentially, if you say over and out to someone, you can say, yeah, you can respond, but fuck you, I'm not listening. So it makes no sense. So over and out, absolutely not. It's one or the other. Over is I'm handing the net over to you to respond. Out, I'm closing this net. Anyone else can now send their messages. Right.
Just one thing. Sorry, Steps.
No, you carry on.
Just to mention something that's incredibly useful for NCO when you're in gambler meetings and stuff, about lowering the headset.
Yeah, it's an ace interaction. You can lower your headset, so you can no longer hear it very well. But I wouldn't recommend it. I'd say turn it down rather than lower it. But it is an option for 3-4-3s anyway. If your squad's off doing something else and you're in a meeting, then yeah, you can lower your headsets. But the 148 should be drilled into your brain. Because if I'm asking for something, or Tay's asking for something, and someone comes back, so sorry, my headset was lowered, the headset is virtually going up your ass.
I think in this case, Ento was referring to a briefing, like when we do an in-mission briefing, talking about the next step of the plan, and you have the chatter of your squad in your ear. That can get distracting, so lower your headset and you good.
Somebody once advised, and it was a good idea, that if you've got your radio set to each ear, and let's say that you're in the middle of something and Gamba sends a message and you're trying to focus, just take the earpiece off your ear that's got 343, because it might be a bit rude.
Hey, yeah, I know what you mean. Yes, someone gave that. By the way, since you're speaking right now, everyone please turn up to shout. No need to whisper here.
So yeah, has anyone got any other points or anything like that?
Yeah, I was wondering about when and what situations you would call a break, because of course what might be important to me might be less relevant for a gambler. Is that a experience?
For breaking someone's comms, for example, if someone is if we're sending a particular squad to a certain direction, and we say we want you to move to grid blah 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 blah. If this is taking up a bit of time, and all of a sudden you've seen an enemy patrol heading straight towards you, or heading toward that particular position, you can break. This is, Blade or whatever, sighted 10 times enemy personnel moving toward location XYZ. Something like that, something that's urgent, that's going to change what's happening at that point in time. So it's not just if you've just got hit an IED or something like that. So whatever the current tasking is, or whatever the current situation is, whatever changes that situation for the worse is a relevant time to break. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, quite a bit. So enemy spotted and danger.
Yeah, anything that So if the shit hits the fan, to put it bluntly, that's a relevant time for a break. If you spotted a T-72 strolling toward a squad, you can break for that. If you spot a sniper that's pinning someone down and they're trying to find it, and you can hear on the radio that there's confusion or something, and you can see it, you can break and interject that message and say, sniper spotted, blah blah, IED on the road. It's very situational, but it has to be an important. The relevant thing here is it's got to be an important message. You can't just break for the sake of it. It's got to be something that's of critical importance. If it can wait for a couple of minutes, then let it wait. There's no right or wrong with it. If you think it's of critical importance, then by all means break. And then if it turns out it wasn't critical importance, it can be raised after. You're not going to get chewed out over the net for using proper protocol when you thought it was the right thing to do.
Copy.
Cool.
I guess also on the subject of breaks then, when you're transmitting a long message and you are putting a break in for a breath and someone else to dive in, how long between breaks? Maybe kind of try not to go over 10 seconds.
Essentially, yeah, you want to break for not very long, because you want to get your message across. If you think it's going to take you a few minutes to collect your thoughts, just wait one. That's the best thing I could advise to do. If you get a bit jumbled, And as I say, you go back to those pro words. If you've messed up on a grid or something like that, and you need a moment to collect your thoughts, you can simply say wrong, wait one, out, and then you can come back and reaffirm the handshake afterwards. There might be
Okay.
somebody waiting to jump in, you know.
Well, yeah, that's what I kind of meant. So how long should you have your finger on the transmit button before stopping for a break?
I wouldn't give it too long. Yeah, you're kind of talking like 15 seconds max, really. That 15 seconds is a lot of time to get across information. You don't want to be keying down for ages because there might be someone desperately trying to break through on that net, and they can't even break because you've not even released a plunger. You know.
Yeah, copy.
So I mean, as long as it takes, but don't take too long, if that makes sense. Again, that's where the pro words come in. You know, pro words are used to transmit an awful lot of information in a short amount of time. So that's kind of what it is. There will be, because I'm fucking so nice to you all, there will be handouts, shall I say? There'll be a PM going out with a nice written stuff for all of you to kind of take away and chew and throw in your recycle bin. When you finish, go over everything we've covered today, just as a visual guide, but sometimes people prefer their own notes and whatever. So unless there's any further question, we will move on.
I have a question about say
Sure.
again.
Yeah.
If I want to repeat or say again grid coordinates, do I need to say again all the message or just the coordinates?
So, for example, if I've sent you a lengthy message saying, what's got you in Cutlass, right? So, Cutlass, this is Gambler. We want you to assault town at blah 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 grid. You can say, Roger, say again or after assault town of, and then I'll know that you said that you've got the message up to a certain point, and I just need to repeat the grids.
Okay, thank you.
So you can either say, if you completely missed the entire message, just say, Gambler, this is Cutlass, say again over. And that wraps it up nice and neat, and we can basically send the entire message again. Again, don't worry about messing up on the net or not hearing stuff. As long as you're asking us to repeat ourselves properly or you're using proper voice procedure, it's not an issue. I think one of the things most people flap about when they take on a squad is all of a sudden they've got this extra radio with a lot of extra information going and filtering through your ears. You need to learn to filter out the noise, so to speak, and pay attention to what's relevant to you. And if you listen out for the correct words and use the correct terminology, it makes life much, much easier. All right? Everybody happy?
Yes.
Fantastic. Right. So, from there, we can move on. As long as everyone's happy with that, I'm happy, you're happy. Cool. Right. Let's take, because I really need to get a drink after all that talking, so let's just take a very, very quick 5-minute break and come back here. So, yeah, 5 minutes, go.
Cool.
Copy. Can I make tea in 5 minutes?
Oh man, British problems.
Can you make me
Yes.
tea in 5
Okay.
minutes?
I'm doing
Yes.
that too.
There is a SOP on communication in the forums. Is that still relevant, or I mean, all the stuff?
Let me look at that.
What is it? The one I posted, Preacher,
I think I don't. Yeah, I think I'm
with a grey
don't remember.
background on Google Docs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much like listen to what Stab said, but
Yeah, I
that's
just was
based off the
saying.
British Army version, so it's gonna be almost identical.
Yeah. Just want to say you.
All in all, it doesn't matter that much if you use British terminology or American one or Swedish one or Norwegian one or whatever. In the end, you all come from different backgrounds. Some military, some are not military. That doesn't mean that you can't use proper radios. There's also not a complete 100% right. As long as you get a message through and it's understandable to everyone else, you won. That's all what counts when using the radio. Keeping it short, but transmitting as much as possible in few words as possible is the key word to it. So what words you use in the end to achieve this is up to you.
You'll notice 99% of that document is what Stubbs just said. So
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, boys. Like, you haven't got to be fucking military through and through. It's just this stuff is standard NATO terminology, and it's just quick fire. Like you'll hear, I'm just as guilty for using plain text and all the rest of it. It's not an issue. It's just all stuff that you can have in the back of your minds that if you need to transmit something quickly and clearly, everyone should kind of understand what you're saying. All right, is everyone here, or is someone away?
Sam is back.
Yep.
Cool.
Will is probably still brewing his tea.
Yeah, that's fine.
Probably, yes.
Maybe we can stand up if you're back.
Yeah, if you're back, just stand. That'd be useful. Alright, just while we wait for the last couple, I want you guys to make your way to, if you open your maps, you'll see a flag marked Fibula Village, just south. Grab a Land Rover, make your way over there. Land Rovers are over to
One
that
way
direction.
each.
No, just
Okay.
cram a few people in.
Okay. Okay.
Make your way over there.
Anto, don't drive, please.
Oh, where's
My
mic?
driving is fantastic.
Oh,
I'm a
sorry.
terrible driver, just saying. So
We have Android, Kimbo,
I can do left and right. That's the important thing.
which is Shift H. Control H. Something.
Oh, now we're gonna teleport. Okay.
Hey, went up.
Something with an H.
You just want to rally drive.
Yeah,
Maybe.
two is still out.
Yeah, sure.
I'm driving.
There's still one seat here.
Totally forgot this is the British car.
Beautiful pictures.
Oh man.
Oh, someone
Still some
dismounted.
seats on the right hand.
Still one seat here.
Mate.
Okay, I think
Well,
we're full.
we need a driver.
No.
The driver, there's still seats in this car.
Yeah.
Did you sit here yet?
Mm,
Yeah, two in this one.
Over you.
It's for this other thing.
How do you open the Android? By default?
Control H.
And then straight back down.
Here we are.
Okay, all out.
All right.
more car.
Yeah, I think we're missing a vehicle.
Alright guys, so what I'd like to do is just kind of dress onto the road over to the right there, please. Right, so come this way a little bit, just past the Land Rovers.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I'm alright. Alright, just gather around. Okay. You can all hear me okay, yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
Sweet. Alright, so next thing we're going to go over, and again, I appreciate this is going to be a bit normal or a bit dumbed down for some of you, but it's important stuff to have in as part of your knowledge. Is formations and the reasons for and why. So if I was to ask you now, just to quickly just get into staggered column formation along this road facing the west.
Staggered column west.
Then we need to. Be nice to be divided into two.
Oh. Improvise, adapt. Alright, so you can all hear me at the back, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, close it up a little bit, you don't need to be too far apart. Don't worry about spacing too much, just close up for now. Alright, so this formation then is known as stagger column for the most part. Alright, when do we use this?
When you'd be crossing down like a street with buildings on both sides.
That's one reason, yeah. Potentially, any time you're on a road, you use this. Now, the reason you'd use this for going down a road is it provides a good amount of fire support, provides good cover to the left and good cover to the right. Okay, when you're patrolling down this way, you have weaknesses to the front and to the rear, but the vast majority of the firepower is concentrated left or right. So you would use this when travelling a road like this, or in a built-up area, or anywhere where you think the threat's going to be mostly to the left or right. Any questions on that? Okay, so just points to remember, weakness is at the front and the rear, strengths are to the left and right hand side. So when you're patrolling, you'd have the people on the left, they'd obviously be facing or checking out left, and those on the right would be checking out right. Everyone happy with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, drop down into the normal column now.
Column
Okay. This formation here is the bane of my fucking life, because everybody in RG seems to move from A to B using this formation constantly, and it's probably one of the most least effective formations going. Can anyone think of the reasons why?
Basically, we're all watching one direction and we're not covering, like, I would say, a 180 degrees spectrum. So,
Essentially, yes. The most you're going to see, because it's just habit when playing a game, is to look straight forward. The most you're going to see is the person that's in front of you. It's incredibly weak to the front. There is no firepower to the front. There's only one weapon that could possibly face him backwards at any time. And although you can cover left and right, it's not very effective because people will tend to change and just focus on the bod in front of them. This formation is used for very, very narrow pathways, or if you were moving up alongside a wall, like what's over to the west there, along that wall. If you was moving up alongside that wall, or a hedgerow, along hedgerow, you'd use file, or single file like this, or column, whatever you want to call it. Right? It's not the best formation, but it is the easiest to control, because everyone's just following. Right, what I'd like to see now, has anyone got any questions on that?
Just adding minefields as well, please.
Yeah, if you're traversing a minefield, yeah.
No walking around sending the mine detector guys in like a fanning out motion to detect the mines. You don't care about that. You want to cross the minefield quickly, so you do it in a column.
Alright, now if I ask for into that field over there to the north, I would like you to get into a wedge or arrowhead formation. If Callum, you take point man. Don't need to be spread out too much. Just get into the formation itself so you can see. Right, everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Roger.
Roger. Okay, so this formation it can be used from going from A to B in open areas when you know the likely direction of the enemy, as in the likely direction is straight in front of you. Okay? This formation is difficult to control, however, provides the greatest amount of firepower to the front and to either flank as well. Its only weakness is there's not much protection to the rear, but then you would only really use this formation when covering open ground, proceeding toward an enemy location or projected enemy location. Now, obviously, the spacing on this is quite wide and it is difficult to control as a squad leader or 2IC, but with practice and getting it nailed down, it's incredibly effective. You can drop down into fire and movement formations fairly easily, which we'll go over very, very shortly. And to be fair, those are the three main formations that you're ever going to need to use. There are some others, like diamond and all these kind of weird and wonderful things, but for the most part, those three are the most effective. The next one is extended line, which I'm not going to get you to do because it's literally you stood next to each other one way or the other. But I will say the strengths to that one is maximum firepower to the front. However, nothing to the flanks and nothing to the rear either. You'd use extended line going through perhaps a woodland or just before you make an assault on something. It's not a very common used patrol formation, if you will. Happy with that? Sorry?
Can I add one for the line?
Yep.
Because for instance, in a forest, when you need to search for something, maybe a pilot has been downed. You can search a lot of field at one time.
Again, if you in a search pattern or something like that, extended line's good. But a combat environment, it's not used all that much unless preparing for an assault. All right, so if you drop back down into a staggered column on the road again, if you don't mind. Again, this is it's all baby steps for you. I appreciate that. But again, it's something I want to make sure everyone's aware of. So in the coming weeks, everyone's on the same footing and they all understand the principles of why we do things in a certain way. So let's say you get contacted from the left when you're in this kind of formation. What would happen? Any thoughts from the floor?
I would unfold this stagger column into a line facing south to provide the maximum amount of firepower
Exactly what I wanted to hear. So let's say you get contacted left, right? Whoever realizes it would call contact left, everyone on the right hand side would sprint across the road and you would form that base of fire onto that particular direction. Everyone do that now? So contact left. So Callum, you'd be on the other side of the road right now, in line with everyone else.
Sorry, desync.
That's fine. So from here, you can see now that you could essentially launch a fire and movement thing from this formation. So into single file would be the same. If you get contacted left or right, you do exactly the same thing. Let's have Callum just push forward a little bit and go into a wedge again. Everyone get into a wedge? So don't worry about spreading out too much, boys. Right, now this is where it gets a little bit more complex. If you contact it to the front, it's very, very easy. Right? Essentially, the person at the very front would drop down, the next two would sprint up, drop down, and so on and so on and so on. And you do the same thing again. You get into a line and form your base of fire. It gets a little bit more confusing if you get bumped from the left or right. What do you think happens if you get contacted left or right? Let's go, Dave.
Out.
Dave, yeah, what do you reckon?
Fuck, I don't know, man. I've been writing shit down.
No, that's fine. Okay, so if you get, let's say we hit from the left, because it makes a little bit more sense. If you get hit from the left, everyone on the left-hand flank would immediately turn and face the point of contact. You'd drop down onto your knees or onto your bellies, and you'd lay down suppressing fire. Everyone on the right flank would then literally swing round and form an extended line. Every single time. If you get bumped in any way, formation or anything like that, your first thing that you'd want to do is get into that extended line. Why would we do that?
To maximize firepower.
Exactly, to maximize firepower, and from there you can launch any kind of flanking maneuver, bounding, anything like that, they all flow from these formations, and that's why these formations are so commonly used in more or less every military in the world. They are effective, they're useful, they're fairly easy to control, and you can launch any kind of offensive maneuver from these things. But the important thing to remember is you'd always get into some form of extended line from these formations. Everyone happy with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Even at the back over there, you hear me all good, yeah?
Yep.
Yes, I'm good.
Cool. Right. So I'm not going to get used to practice all these. There'll be plenty of time next week for that kind of thing. So let's just push into the town a little bit now. If you're just on me.
Tab.
And again, if I'm going too fast, it's because time and all the rest of it. All right. Now, one of the things that as a gather in, boys, closing. One of the things that we do in RG, or that gets overlooked a lot of the time, is switching from that kind of running pace or that constant combat pace to actual patrolling. And it's something that I know the NCOs are working very hard to kind of stop, mainly because like stamina and things like that, but also for security reasons. Now, what we have here is a little CQV village. Now, the tendency to when people are running through towns is to sprint from building to building and clear them as quick as possible, and they normally end up with several casualties or several getting shot. As an NCO or as a squad leader or a 2IC, it's your job to kind of stop that from happening, right? So it's down to you guys to control that movement and to slow it down to a comfortable pace and do things as safely as possible. What we're going to do now, I'm not going to get you to patrol, but I will say that if you're in a situation like this, what I would recommend is that people patrolling or going through a village like this with their weapon up and they're scanning left to right, buildings all over the shop, and they can see, checking the flanks. What I'd like you to do is get into a staggered column again, if you will be so kind.
Staggered column.
Now, as you can see, this kind of area is fairly built up. Now, if you're in a staggered column, you're on a road. If you're on the left, what side should you be covering?
The right.
Exactly. This is where it starts to get a little bit more into it, and you need to use your brains a little bit more, and you need to make sure your guys are using their brains a little bit more as well. Why do you cover the opposite side if you're in a situation like this?
The left has a better view.
Exactly, yeah. Like if you're walking past a 2-story building and it's on the same side as you can't see into that window. You can't see in the angles, in the nooks and crannies and stuff like that. So you check the opposite side, and the other side is responsible for your the opposite sides. Opposites and opposites, yeah. Let's stick with that. Garbling my words like a fucking idiot. So yeah, that's one thing that people always seem to forget to do in these kind of environments, is to check the opposite side. What I'd like you to do now is just simply patrol up through this town about halfway, and I'll call a stop. And I just want to see how everyone kind of looks and what angles you're checking and stuff like that. So if the lead man just takes it out. And hold it there, boys. Hold it. All right. Just a couple of points on that one. As a point man, as point 2, you guys need to concentrate mostly to your fronts. Yeah. Have faith in the guys that are behind you to be covering your ass and checking the windows and stuff. You've got potentially the most dangerous job going, but it's an important one at that. So a little bit less, you don't want to be spinning around so much, boys. You just want to nice and slow. You check in the windows. You check in there. When you come to a corner, you're peeking, and you're making sure that's not occupied. You're making sure that the boys next to you are good. You don't need to look behind you, except for the person at the very rear. Is there any questions so far?
Would you prefer walking pace or combat jogging?
That again, as an NCO, that's going to be your discretion. If you think this town could be heavily populated, I wouldn't recommend having anyone go in combat pace. I would have it all at walking pace, because then if you need to sprint somewhere to cover, you've got the stamina to do so. What you got to think of is, this is potentially an incredibly dangerous situation for everyone. So you don't want to be tiring yourselves out before you've even got into contact. If it comes to it where you have to bug out, then you're in trouble. And speaking of bugging out, that's a nice little segue. I'm going to teach you something new, and it's something that I'd want to see from now on. And it's whilst you're here, I might as well teach you something new so you can walk away at least learning something. If you were in a contact like this and you got attacked from the front and you wanted to withdraw, how would you get out?
Bounding
Bounding where?
to the northeast.
So back the way you came, yeah?
Well, we know that's safe.
What? You've just patrolled in from the northeast, yeah?
Mhm.
So you'd want to go back the way you came.
Well, I'd say so, yeah.
No, you're right. Don't have faith in yourself, dude. You're absolutely right. You want to go back the way you came. Now, there's methods to do this, and it's something that as NCOs you want to be able to control. You want to be able to organise and sort out amongst yourselves. And I'm going to go over it very quickly. But if you kind of bunch up a little bit toward the southwest, so as if you're patrolling this way. All right. So you patrolled up. You've come under contact from the front. Very first thing you'd do is obviously you'd drop to your knees or find any available cover. Let's say there is no cover at this point though. This manoeuvre is called tunneling. I don't know if any of you may have heard of it before. Could you clear the centre of the road, please, guys? Thank you. All right, so the first two people would obviously lay down some return fire. The two behind that would stand up. So you're standing up. First two would take a couple of side steps in toward the road.
First two.
Subject, that's you. You take a couple of steps in toward the road. A little bit more. All right, so you say something like stepping in, which would give the two behind you a chance to start returning fire. As soon as those guys behind you are firing, you two would turn into your right and left, respectively, and run backwards to the back of the pack. As soon as they're moving, the next two would drop to their knees. No, knees, Sam. The person behind them would stand up, so Breacher and Dave. Then the two front guys would sidestep in, turn, moving back, and sprint to the back. And then it flows like that, constant. So as soon as those two have stepped in, Dave, you're with us. You're stepping in and you're running back. As soon as they run back, first person down on the knees, next person stood up, bish bash bosh.
What did you say this was called, Stabs?
Tunneling.
Tunneling. Or vertical
You
peeling.
found your mic.
Yeah.
Right, and close it back in.
Would we want to deploy smoke in this situation?
You could deploy whatever you want as long as you're getting out of there alive.
And it's within the rules of engagement. Just saying.
You don't want to level the time. So that was just as a little something, like learn something new, but that's something we will go over a little bit more. As I said, this is very much the training session where we want to introduce you to new stuff and hash over old stuff. So hopefully you're all kind of getting something out at this point. Let's just push to this end here because I've planned something for prepared something, I should say.
Is the cake?
Cake?
No cake. Cake is a lie.
Oh wow.
It's not.
Put on.
2008 wants his joke now.
You're a fine one to talk. Well,
I
my
know.
God. All right, guys. So, road crossings are again another thing that as NCOs you need to be very, very wary of and very keen to. Oh, we're just waiting on one more thing. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, road crossings and obstacle crossings are something that as NCOs you need to be very, very aware of and take heed that they are super dangerous points and the parts where most people could get killed in a CQB environment. And there are ways to negate this threat using the tools at your disposal within the squad. Now, we don't have those with us because everyone's got the same loadout, but I'm going to nominate 2 people to start with. So let's say Ninja and who's that? D-Dog. All right, you two, for this purpose only, would be AURs. All right. Now, when crossing an obstacle or trying to get across a road, if there's a sniper down to the northeast or something like that, essentially, if you kind of come around here, you want to reduce the angles that you can be shot from at all times. So you'd all tuck in. Let's say we want to cross from this side of the road that I'm on to the other. Everyone come over here. You'd all tuck in on this wall, right? Now, you probably wouldn't want to be this bunched up in normal circumstances because one nade could knock you out, but the principle remains the same. You'd all want to be tucked in somewhere nice and smart and reducing that angle that you can be fired from. As an NCO again, or as you want to make sure this movement goes off smoothly as possible with minimal casualties. So the first thing you do is call up one of your AURs. You would get them onto one of the corners. Okay, that person would then lie down, tucked in as close to the wall as they could, but still providing as much cover, or still in as much cover as they can. Once they're set, your next AUR would sprint like hell across the road and set up on this side. Everyone happy with that so far?
Yes.
Yep.
Why are we using the AURs?
Well,
More firepower.
Exactly, maximum firepower. And then from there, you'd literally peel across one at a time. As soon as the other person's almost halfway, then the next person goes over and over again. And then the last person, let's say for this purpose, is D-Dog over there. You've all crossed. D-Dog's the last man. He would simply run across saying last man. But you'd always have your 2 AURs or whatever the most firepower is pointing down the direction of threat. Is everyone happy with that?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, let's just have a quick run through of that then. So D-Dog, if you just run over here, mate.
Okay.
Let's have a Dozer. You take a lead on this one. Ninja
Come
and
off the camera.
Ninja just pull back.
Full back. Okay.
Right, Dozer, you take the lead on this one then.
A little bit back.
Now, when you're all before you start, when you're all kind of hugged in on this, you want to be doing essentially 180-degree security. So from the first man pointing across the road to the second man a little bit further around, until the last man is pointing where he is now. So that's good. Okay, because you don't want to get anyone, or you don't want to let anyone get a jump on you when you're this hugged in, or when you're in this kind of situation, because one burst from an LMG could really ruin your squad's day. All right, so Dozer, if you kick it off then.
Yep.
All right, so you'd scout it out. You go, I'm not fucking risking my whole squad just running across there like idiots. Let's get the AURs up.
Need to take the corner.
Moving. Set.
The dog run through.
Crossing. Set.
So go first or first team and then I?
If you're an NCO,
Yep.
I wouldn't recommend going first.
Right, copy. Let's start crossing.
Crossing.
And then on the other side, you set up exactly the same position again, making sure you got security all around. So just go, one after the other.
Go wait, go, just go.
Cross it.
And at this point, those you probably want to go yourself.
Yep.
Crossing.
Sam crossing.
Crossing. Oh, fuck, sorry.
And stay in the middle of the road though.
Yeah, you want to be
Calm crossing,
sprinting
Jill,
across
man.
that. Callum, you
Crossing.
want to be... I know D-Dog's got it, so it's all good. And there you go. And then you can pull off the line and carry on about your business. Now, doing that is probably the safest way you can cross a road with minimal risk to yourselves and to anyone else. You've got 2 AURs pointing down in a direction. You're all good to go. And if someone does get hit or shot halfway through, you've got 2 AURs pointing in that direction that can lay down a lot of pain in the general direction of the shooter. Anybody got any questions?
All right,
Nope.
to add to this, those are just showed it perfectly. As a leader, you don't want to be the first one on the other side. You're not the fighter of the squad. It's important that you as a 1SC or 2SC are there to guide your men If you're the first one over there and you step on an ID or something like that, then you're out. You can't give orders. You push your squad in disarray. Mission over. So you want to give the guys on the other side of the road a chance to build up a foothold, and then move your 2SC or as a 2SC move over so that they have a commander on the other side. But also make sure that you're spaced out enough between the 1SC and the 2SC. So what I mean by this is don't push the 1SC and 2SC behind each other, because if then a grenade hits unlucky on the road or whatever, and they're both out, then you're in trouble again. So just understand that you should have a leader on both ends of the road, so that if anything goes sideways or shit hits the fan, that at least one of you is still up and can take control of the situation. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Is there any preferred way with the IC and the 2IC? I mean,
no.
So you can either lead from the back or lead from the front if you're in charge.
Yeah, whatever works best for you, really. I know some others have a stronger opinion on this, but I emphasize that whatever works best for you, you should do. If you're a person that does best by leading from the front, go for it. This is your strength. Capitalize on this. If you're more of a lean back person who wants to control it from the rear and have the 2SC taking point in the assault squad, go for that. Sure, you would do it different in a real-life military scenario or whatever, but in the end, it's also still a game. So balance is key here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Any further questions on that?
Yes, just for the,
Sure.
the crossing scenario. So you suggested to keep first IC and second IC separated. So you suggest that one of them crosses first and the second one crosses last in order to keep them separate information?
I wouldn't say first and last, but if you've got a group either side of the road, you want, as an NCO, I'd want to be with my people on one side or the other. So if you've got one fire team across, you'd have whoever's in charge of that fire team with them as either middle of the pack or end of the pack, and the same on the other side. For in case something does happen and you split up, at least you've got, as an NCO, at least you've got some of you guys with you on one side of the road or the other. And these are the kind of things. Sorry, these are the kind of things as NCOs you need to kind of take heed of. At the end of the day, you've got 4 or 9 guys directly under your control, essentially. And it's, do you stick with them? Hell yeah, you should do. You should want to stick with them at all times. They're going to need your leadership. They're going to need your decisions. They sometimes might be the wrong decisions, but they're decisions nonetheless, and they're decisions that fall onto you. And that's what we go back to at the very start when we're talking about responsibilities. You are taking these decisions in your own hands and making them happen. So you've got to have some conviction in what you're deciding to do, regardless of how you do it. It's a lot of it is down to personal choice, but have some courage in the convictions and the decisions that you make, that at the time they're the right ones, which is why we're doing stuff like this. It's basic stuff, but you've got to have the knowledge to back these decisions up. The more knowledge you can kind of soak in, the better decisions you can make, the more educated decisions you can make. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Obi?
I was just going to say, it's also about accountability, too. It's why you have one of the leaders getting on the chopper last or hopping out last or something, to just make sure that you know where the full one side knows where the squad is and the other side knows where the squad is, and in the middle is the squad.
Makes sense.
All right, there's one more thing I just want to quickly show you, and then if we've got time, we'll do some shooty bang bang stuff. So if we just press around the front here, this one will do.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
And the first staggered column in the city we did, we just crossed an opening. Well, in the staggered column like this, one side have cover to the left and one side doesn't have cover to the right. Do you just move
Okay,
with
so
the staggered column?
if it's a big opening like this, then you could either treat it as an obstacle, like we did before, like what was down there. You could either do that, or you could halt the one side of the column to cover that gap whilst the rest cross. It's, again, these decisions are completely down to you as NCOs, which is why these scenarios are being set up. It's to get your minds thinking. You've got to get in the mindset of safety, enjoyment, and getting the job done at the same time. you know?
Yeah.
All right, so one last thing then before we do some shooty bang bang stuff. Now, you're all very, very familiar with the standard way we do CQB, which is, you know, either 3-man entry or whatever. Sometimes, though, you come across a slightly bigger challenge, and this is something that we're going to quickly go over now. This is clearing building using one squad at a time. Now, as an NCO, this is something that you may decide to make the decision on if the building is too big. Now, what's too big of a building? Essentially, anything that a small team can't clear by themselves. Like, these buildings are pretty huge. Just looking at the front of this, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms potentially. That's a lot for 3 guys to go in and clear by themselves, fast anyway. If you're doing CQB, it needs to be done at a pace, you know, with aggression, with speed, but also with safety. If you have 3 blokes charging into this building, chances are they could either be cut off, they could have someone come down the stairs and gun them down, or anything like that. So there's ways we do it. Now, how many people have we got here? Could you just all line up for me real quick so I can have a quick head count? That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9? Can I not count? 1, 2, 3, 4,
10.
5, 6, yeah, it's 10. Being blind there. Okay, so that's 10. So it's nice and easy for pairs. All right. So for a big building like this, if I was a squad leader, I would want to clear it as a squad. Now, there is certain methods to doing this and doing it safely as well. So first thing, you disregard the 3-man breach. Now, again, I'm not disregarding previous training. It still holds up and it's still correct. However, for large buildings such as this, you might want to rethink your methods, you know. Again, as an NCO, your brain's always working. You've got to think what's going to be best for the squad and how to achieve the objective safely and within a decent amount of time. So let's all bunch up together as if you was about to breach a building. Just close the gap, close the gap, close the gap. All right. So with Arma being Arma, you know, you're normally going to need 1 person either side of the door. But for this purpose, in fact, we'll do that. So Breacher, that's quite a ironic name as you're the point man. Switch onto the other side of the door. All right. Everyone else bunches up. Now, whilst you're doing this, you're doing that whole 180 security again, or securing any lines. If there's any open windows, the squad members will be peeking in and stuff like this. Now, for CQB, we don't have to worry about large LMGs like M240s or GPMGs, so your AURs can go inside with you, but sometimes you might want to leave them outside to provide security because they've got a larger weapon, they can provide more firepower to the outside. Again, a decision that rests on your shoulders. It's suitable for the day. But back to this breaching. So what would happen is you'd have 1 man to open the door. So we'd swing the door open. The next man, before he goes rushing in, would poke his head round and call out exactly what you can see in front of him.
Hallway, 3 doors, 4 doors.
Okay. Not too helpful, but he's got some information. So if I was to peek in there and say hallway front, 2 doors left, 2 doors right, left turn at the end of the corridor. Okay, so you now know that you've got at least 4 rooms to clear at the bottom. As a squad leader, you'd then say, okay, first 2 in. First 2 would push in, and they would call out which room they're going to, be it left or right. It's down to them. So they'd push in and go left. As soon as they're in and they've opened that door, the next 2 floods in and takes another room. So they go right. Pushing, guys, pushing. Just open the doors.
Yeah, one sec. This makes a point. If Breacher and Callum stop right there, and the next 2 try and flow in, they can't because the armor doesn't handle movement very well, and you're blocking the corridor. This creates a funnel, and they can funnel fire or grenades down this funnel, and it'll kill everyone. As soon as you're through the first door, you can't restack up. You need to be flowing corners of the rooms, stick to the walls to keep the central area, the firing ways, essentially the firing lanes, as open as possible. This stops friendly fire, it stops people getting pushed out of the building via blocking, and it stops creating fatal funnels.
Gotcha. Alright, so come back out. We'll try that again. So the first 2 go in. They call out which room they're going to, or which direction they're going. They push straight in. The point man is the only one who fires. If he runs out of ammo at any point, he'd simply drop down onto his knee and the person behind him fires. You don't want two people going into a room all shooting at the same time. That's how deaths happen. Okay? So, for this purpose, you've opened the door. You've told them you've got two doors left, 2 doors right. Looks like a stairway at the end. So the squad leader would say, okay, first 2 go left, second 2 go right, third 2 go left, fourth go right. And then the last pair would take the end. You always clear the ground floor first.
Right, clear.
Right, push in, push in, push in.
I'm clear.
Right, clear.
First room clear. Left.
Right, once you've cleared your room, you stay in it. You stay in that room.
Door behind you.
Pushing through.
Going up, going up.
No,
No, do not go up yet.
Room not clear here.
Sorry.
Okay. Now, assuming you've cleared every single room on the downstairs, that's when you can go up, and you'll use the same. You'll use the same principle going upstairs as well. So you creep up, 2 at a time, and then you call out again what you see, and you do the same thing. The principle with this is you're basically flooding a building all at once instead of just going 1 at a time and risking getting cut off. Okay?
You can cover the stairs with your rifle, guys, but you never go upstairs until you hear your section commander or your 2IC, one of the NCOs, call ground floor clear. That's when you can go up, no sooner. You can watch it to stop anyone coming down, but don't start going up until you hear that the entire ground floor has been clear. And now, that should always just be called over 343 or shouted as ground floor clear, and then you know to go up.
And the reason you stay in your rooms is to make sure that you're not going to get any friendly fires, you're not blocking up the corridors, that kind of thing. This kind of thing has to be done with like maximum speed and aggression. There'll be lots of shooting going on, there'll be lots of potential risks. So you want to stay the hell out of everyone else's way if your room's cleared until you hear ground floor clear, as Sue said, and then you can move up and push upstairs. Now, again, don't disregard previous things of breaching with 3 people, but this is just another way of clearing a large building as a section rather than splitting it all down. So let's come outside.
Thank you.
All right.
Kimbo.
So we've got 10 of you. What I'd like to do then, what time is it? Have you all still okay for time?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Cool. Right. What I want to see is I want you to organise yourselves into 2 fire teams. Have 1 person as IC, 1 person as 2IC. You've got 1 minute to do that. Go.
Yeah, I'll go IC then, guys. Anto, Sam, on me. Breacher, Bone, Diamond Dog, Breacher, 2IC. Who else we got left? Dozer and Davo. Dozer with me, Dave with Breacher. We'll go red, you can go blue, Breacher.
Copy, go blue. And join one team.
Stop moving for a second.
On check tech.
And you.
Alright guys, once you sort it out, don't forget your 2 fire teams, but you're still 1 squad. Okay? What I'd like you guys to do is push to the northeast to the end of the CQB range, and between yourselves, I want to see you devise a plan on how you're going to take this street. And then when I say go, you're going to implement it. You've got 5 minutes to organise a plan amongst yourselves on how you're going to do it and what you think the best way of doing it, and then I want you to put that plan into action. All right?
Right.
Cool. Right, so make your way to the end of the range up by the vehicles.
Kimbo, this is Breacher, ready to check. Over.
I can hear you loud and clear, Breacher.
Do I already check with high roller maybe?
Yeah, let's get in.
Staggered column.
Yeah.
Yeah, staggered column.
Roger that.
Blue on
right.
My side, yeah.
Who's that?
Well then,
Those are
guys,
checkpoints.
I'm not gonna go first.
Go further.
Anto,
No, Sam,
then
Sam.
Dozer,
Oh, Callum,
Bone,
go
and Sam.
Go front range for me.
Yeah.
Right, make sure your
Take point
safety's
down
off,
there.
boys.
Right, guys, we should be able to open maps. Right, so this is where we are now. Is that correct?
Nope.
I
Can't see
think we
marker.
are to the Fibua village.
Yeah.
Fibua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, moving this way.
Yeah, so we are just literally there.
Yeah, okay, so we got staggered column and we're going to try and clear the buildings. I say red take the left, the blue take the right. As we're approaching, obviously cover the buildings and just take it nice and slow because there's quite a few. Sound good?
Roger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get one building per fire team or squad?
Yeah,
per
yeah,
building?
what one building per fire team, sorry, yeah.
Right.
Kimbo, could
Yo.
you check if this is live fire or not?
This will be live fire. This
Yeah,
will be live
expect it to
fire.
be.
Thank you.
Alright, just make sure there's no. We don't want HE grenades going.
Right then, guys,
Go for it.
quick radio check from the top. Sam?
Sam, radio check on 343 channel 1, over.
Yeah, Lima Charlie, Sam.
NCO 343 channel 1, radio check, over.
Lima Charlie.
Bone radio check 343 channel 1.
Lima Charlie.
Found a ditch. Next one.
Diamond Dog radio check 343 channel 1.
Lima Charlie.
Radio check, channel 123.
Lima Charlie.
Dave 343 channel 1, radio check, over.
Lima Charlie.
Ninja radio check 343 channel 1.
Lima Charlie.
Callum 43 channel 1, radio check.
Lima Charlie.
We can
Right then,
base.
Stabs, how are we doing at time?
You still got a minute or so. You happy with your plan?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Base?
Just-
Stab, are you gambler?
yes.
Okay. Kimbo, you wanna radio check with gambler?
Sorry,
Okay. Well,
148 time, baby.
Yeah.
Gambler, this is Kimbo, radio check 148.
No.
No.
Nope.
Handshake.
Press Alt caps lock.
Gambler, this is Kimbo, radio check 148.
Yeah, I don't know what your radio is set on, but it's
Yeah.
not channel 1.
Hang on 2 seconds, sorry guys.
Alright.
Richard, you want to try it while he's doing that?
What we call us?
Alright, there's 2 Gambler channels, sorry.
Just one section will do for now.
Over.
Yeah.
Kimbo, radio
Thank you.
check 148.
No, still not coming through, mate.
Kimbo, radio check 148.
No, it's not. It's not transmitting. In the bottom right-hand corner, when you press that button, is it saying 148?
Yep, 148, yep.
Gambler base.
I wouldn't. Okay.
Yeah, what
might
does
need-
it say?
It says ANPC 148.
I think.
And?
must-
The last line?
Gambler alternative 2.
Yeah, okay,
Ah,
that's
that's the
wrong.
problem.
You need to be on G01, GamblerNet, that's the first channel. So somehow you managed to get yourself an alternate radio.
Yeah, it won't change to alternate. It won't change to alt 1.
Just pick up my radio on the bottom. Just swap yours for mine. Mine is pre-configured.
I'll just drop this.
Just take it up and pick it up. I'll handle yours. Just swap them out directly.
Kimbo, radio check 148.
Nice.
Yep, sound. Sorry guys, just double checking.
No problem.
So Kimbo, pace, weapons up, walking.
Yeah, sorry guys, yeah, so it's going to be nice and slow, weapons up, just take your time, there's no rush, we just need to do it right.
Right, pushing down to the first CQB building, then holding there, and then we're going to breach you.
Good stuff, Anto. You alright, Breacher, yeah?
Alright.
Alright, Roger, move on, ready.
Set.
Right. Let's move out, guys, come on.
Stepping out.
Staggered column, staggered column.
on the left.
Is it clear?
Just make sure we're covering opposite side of the road, guys.
Clear left.
Holding CQB building.
Holding.
Clear right.
Right,
Set
sounds
ninja.
good.
Crossing to the other side.
We set.
Yeah, that's the QB building.
Set.
Red, set, opening door.
Yeah.
Set.
Set.
Set. Three
Opening.
guys.
Three doors up.
Diamond Dog, go in front of me with three guys.
Corridor to the right. Door on the left.
Stairs to
Copy.
the
Let's
left.
breach right. Set.
Balcony on the.
Breaching.
Right, first two on red.
Room
In.
clear.
Go. Second
Set
to
the
the
breach next.
Set.
Opening.
The right.
Breaching.
Go security.
One more room. Breaching. Clear. Next room.
Set.
Set. You open.
Opening.
Stairs front. Peeking. Room clear. Stairs up. Breach stairs.
Copy.
Uh,
On you.
Alright.
Guys, come on.
Opening.
Bone.
Stairs,
Sam.
table.
Pushing.
Pushing. Roof clear.
We've got secured.
Roof clear.
Building,
Building clear.
Kimber right building clear.
Red, blue out.
Taking point.
Thank you.
Just,
Set to move.
just stay, just look at the balcony.
Want us to cross or
No, no, hold,
Yo.
hold.
holding?
Bone,
Be advised,
check the
your
door.
friend is about to open the door, Kimber.
Yeah, no, carry on.
Carry on, carry on.
Cool. Sam,
Red.
upstairs, Sam, go.
Red,
Cool.
sit trap, do you need us?
Bone, on Sam, go with Sam. Let's get up there, Dozer, Anto.
Kimbo, 343 call from blue.
Go ahead, breacher.
Do you need us, Kimbo?
Negative, we're okay, we're okay. Just hold your position for now.
Copy that out.
Careful.
Breacher, just push on to the next building when you feel comfortable.
Copy that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Should we?
I
You want us to ban this one?
Scammer for Alpha, Alpha I need to sit rep.
Yeah.
Say again.
Hold on, wait.
Kimbo, you're up.
Alpha, this is Kimbo. We're cleared one building
Okay,
and
cross,
we're
cross.
moving just in the process of clearing the second one at the moment.
Crossing.
Holding corner.
Crossing.
Yeah, sorry, Tay, I was just,
Crossing.
how we,
Crossing.
Red team, how are we doing up there?
Kimbo, we've got a ladder investigating.
Yeah, roger that, guys.
Crossing.
Move properly.
Diamond Dog, you good?
On you.
Okay, he's desyncing.
Taking rear.
Devo,
yeah, no worries, mate, yeah.
Kimbo, upstairs clear.
did you open the door?
Roger that, boys. Red team, let's get out of here, move on.
Okay, check it, slide it. What do you see?
2 doors left, 2 doors right, stairs at the end of the hallway to the left.
Right now, copy. Taking point. Crossing. Kimbo, we lost bones, we disconnect.
Copy that.
Yeah,
Okay.
no worries. Pick that
First-
corner.
First two guys, get ready.
Right,
Red, your field is
Those up,
clear. You
push.
can cross.
Dozer, push across.
Where are
Okay,
those shots
push,
coming
push.
from?
Inside this building, blue.
Yeah.
Go, Kimbo, go.
Cross it.
Watch the windows, watch the
Yeah,
windows to the south.
hold, window. Ground floor window, left hand side, I think I saw a head. Contact, ground floor left. Right hand side of the road.
Copy.
He's stood up.
Okay, breach.
Got a lot of contacts. Right
Contact,
hand, left hand room.
Next guy with me.
Nice.
Left clear.
Red team, we go.
Yeah, push it.
Watch that top
You
floor
coming?
for me because I can't see it from
Okay,
here.
I'm on you.
On the column.
I'm taking the window.
It's all with two guys.
Alright, I'm set.
Mag.
Yep. Sorry, I thought Diamond Dog was still
Yeah,
here.
me too, hold on.
Yeah, he's
Copy.
desyncing.
Room clear.
Make sure we're checking these
Pushing
windows.
out, yeah.
Okay, I'm
Pushing
good.
out.
Good, with
Open
those
door
up.
left.
There's no bloody.
Go left, breach it.
Go with someone
Is that-
behind you.
Second
don't worry.
breach in.
Okay.
Next to
Opening
game, go
door.
to the next
On
door.
your end.
Clear.
So do you want to get security on the...
Checking stairs to the
Hold,
right.
hold, let them.
Hallway
Let's
in front
go
of us.
stairs. Check the
One
stairs.
door, far right, 2 doors.
Set.
Pushing in.
Ground full clear.
He's not dead yet.
No, he's not.
He's dead now.
Contact
Oh, I got hit.
Clear.
Shoots me through a wall.
Copy. Ground full
Can
clear.
I have a
Grandpa
director?
clear.
Set.
Ground full clear. Set. Fuck. There's someone upstairs. Okay,
Yeah,
push.
set. Push in.
Column push. Next one push.
On you, Callum.
Hallway, 2 doors left, 1 right. Set.
Dave, are you good? Dave, are you good?
We have some connection drops, might be that related. Just carry on.
Okay.
Alright, set to breach. 2 doors left, 1 right. 2 right upstairs.
Copy. I'm holding security. You two guys breach 1 room.
Alright, let's breach left.
Okay, on you.
Set. Opening.
Set. Going in. Clear.
Left clear.
Repeat.
Moving up. Breaching right. Set.
Copy.
Set.
Sorry, DC. Opening.
Clear.
Clear. Copy. Open door left. Let's breach that.
Close that.
Breaching.
Breacher, be advised, I've lost most of red team.
Copy that.
Let's consolidate into one.
Okay, that's some DC. There's a guy in the next room left.
Breacher,
Okay.
position please.
Ready?
We're
Yeah.
on the 2-story building.
Going low.
Opposite side of the road. Like one.
Mark. He's still alive.
I'm-
We need to double
I'm
tap.
Disconnecting. Breacher.
Yeah, I'm
swap
on
with
security
me.
on that second building.
Contact down.
Copy.
Clear. Room clear.
People disconnecting.
Yeah, I'm getting the bug.
Kimbo, do you want to call Gambler and say we are combat ineffective? We have lost too many guys.
Yeah, roger that. Okie doke.
Gamba, this is Kimbo, over.
Scammer send it.
Gamba, we are ineffective, we've lost too many guys to disconnect, over.
This is Gambler, what's his current strength?
Wait one please, Gamba.
Guys, can I get a sit rep, please, from the top?
Whoa. Rip.
There's something about too many people remote controlling.
Sound muted.